We've got John in Bexley asking me via our website. He says, quote, I would like to know what you would do about all the road closures, especially in central London, and how you would help the London black cabs. What would you do about Uber in central London, and Khan is trying to stop black cabs using bus lanes? What would you do about this? End quote. John, I really appreciate this. I was actually speaking with Mohammed, a taxi driver from Somalia recently. He drives one of the London black cabs. I was actually talking to Sunday, originally from Nigeria, who I spoke to out on Old Street the other day. That video went viral, watched 100,000 times. You can go watch that on our Instagram feed. That's his name, Sunday. I love that name. And these are taxi drivers that are frustrated with the current mayor of London because he's trying to bankrupt all of them. And I appreciate the taxi trade because they're entrepreneurs. They spend 3 or 4 years of their life studying the streets of London. It's called the knowledge. They spend 65, 70,000 pounds for a environmentally friendly electric taxi cab. And then the mayor tries to ruin their opportunities for business. He tries to block them from going down roads with his street space scheme, which was deemed illegal in the high courts. He tries to prohibit them from going certain places. He tries to put these low traffic neighborhoods to not support them. He doesn't recognize they're part of TfL, even though black taxis are the only people who can pick up handicapped individuals in certain areas of London, and yet the mayor doesn't even support them as a useful and necessary service. I think that's ridiculous. I want to support any entrepreneur that brings business to our city. I want to support black taxi drivers, and I want to make our roads more open and freer to traffic. If London can't move, we can't move forward. And that's one of the biggest issues we see with this city. The mayor has made mistake after mistake after mistake after he's made press release after press release after press release. And let's be honest, that's what the mayor does. He cooks up a press release, he goes out and takes a picture in public. Usually he gets heckled by his voters, he has to hide for a while, and then he runs off to his armor-plated vehicle back to City Hall, where he realizes that nobody likes his policies. Nobody appreciates the fact that he's just curious about his own career. And he's actually creating policies that hurt the neighborhoods, hurt the citizens, tax them during times of recession. And people have had enough. So John, I appreciate the question. I've had this conversation probably hundreds of times with taxi drivers, with citizens in the street, with Uber drivers, who, by the way, love my plan to abolish the congestion charge because it directly affects their business. The black cab drivers really appreciate the fact that I want to get London back to work and get 20 million people in the city for our great celebration in August, which I'll talk about later. And they really appreciate the fact that I'm an entrepreneur. I come from 30 years of business experience. I've worked in automotive, I've worked in aerospace, I've worked on Wall Street, I've worked in the City of London, I've worked in new media, I've worked in digital education. And I understand what it takes to get something done in the business world. That's why I've already shown you drawings of my affordable homes. And that's why I plan to take London in a new direction. So a great question. I want to shout out some of the people that are on Instagram. We got Elle McPherson, who's up early in Miami. What's up, Elle? And Elle is the supermodel, Elle McPherson. We really appreciate you, Elle. She's been a big supporter of our campaign. And she says, great work. You're doing so well. Missing London. Elle used to live here for many years. Back in the day, I think Notting Hill, because I used to live there as well. And Elle, we appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And thanks for being up early and supporting us on the Brian for Mayor campaign. I got Nayara Silva Official on Instagram. It says, how are you planning to put the price of rent down? A great question, Nayara, and I'm going to share with you again more of my plans for affordable homes. But, you know, it's time to stop talking about building homes and start building homes. It's just that simple. Again, where I come from in the business world, you do what you say you do or you go bankrupt. And so I've got a man like Chris Wilkinson. He's our special advisor on housing. He's already designed exactly what the houses look like in situ. All we have to do now is get me elected, and we're going to build those very homes on that very space before Christmas. And I can't wait to celebrate Christmas with the people that have just moved into those new homes. I'm going to come over there. Mariana's going to cook a turkey. We're going to have a great celebration of actually doing something for Londoners. I can't wait for Christmas this year because we're going to celebrate a big win for Londoners and a big win for politics and politicians of doing what they finally say. So it's a great question and we appreciate it. I got Amber London on Instagram, says, Brian is the real deal, voting for you. Thank you so much. I got Critical Approach on Instagram, says, just can't wait to get an independent up in there. And I know how you feel. It's time for an independent voice. Enough of the politics. Let's just go get the right things done. We've got Six Ronan on Instagram. It says, go get them, brother. I appreciate that. I got Art Burke on Instagram, says, Brian, motivated you to decide to go for mayor in London? You to decide. Maybe it's a question. What motivated me to decide to go for mayor in London? I think that's the question, Art. So it's a great question. You know, somebody on the street asked me this. They said, "Why are you doing this? Like, you know, it's a bank holiday today in London, which means no one's working. Now, why are you here, dressed in your suit with your bus, going to spend the whole day on the road, digital live streaming with people?" And I said, "It's a great question. You're right. I actually have better things to do, but I actually don't." Because the future of this city is so important to me. And if I decided to sleep in today and stay at home, I would know that maybe not next year, but 5 years, 10 years from now, my city would suffer. And pretty soon there would be less opportunities. And pretty soon then my children would suffer. And pretty soon they would see knife crime going up. They would see the economy going down. They would see rents going up because there was no affordable housing. They would see our transport infrastructure going bankrupt. And then ultimately, I would have to know that I didn't do something about it. And so that's why I'm out here. I'm motivated because I want to see change for this city. And quite honestly, it's so easy to make these changes. You just got to stop the politics. That's all you have to do, and we can make these changes. And I've spoken with senior members of the Metropolitan Police, senior members of Transport for London, senior members in house building like Chris Wilkinson, and they've all said this one thing: it's politics that stops London from getting better. That's it. It's politicians that stop the real work from getting done, because it's not complicated. 10,000 more officers on the street. I know how to find the 300 million pounds to pay for it. 100 million pounds corporate for communities going right in to our community centers to give our youth other options besides gangs, like entrepreneurship. I know how to build 50,000 new homes, and I got people like Chris Wilkinson ready to do it with me. I know how to run TfL at a profit, and I've got people that are willing to do it with me. I know how to rebuild the economy with something like the Great Celebration in London, 31 days, street fairs during the day, music festivals at night. I know how to do this. It's right in front of us. And that's what's most frustrating for me, is that the solutions are there. We just have the wrong leaders. And so that's why I'm motivated, and that's a great question, and thanks for asking for me.